politics. This is '04. Tonya Harding, the first time we ever had her on the show. Obviously, years after this incident with Nancy Kerrigan, so forth and so on.
And now you have a movie coming out with Margot Robbie playing Tonya Harding. All right, go ahead.
Did you find religion?
I've always been religious.
Even back in the Olympics in what happened with Nancy Kerrigan?
Yes, I was.
But that goes against whatever teachings you could possibly have with religion.
Excuse me?
That would go against any teachings you could possibly have with religion.
What do you mean?
What happened to Nancy Kerrigan?
Do you really want to get on this subject with me?
Well,
you're asking me questions about religion, that is my personal business. That's not your business or anyone else's.
I was just curious. You brought up religion. You brought up that the future's already planned because God planned it. I didn't bring up religion.
It is.
Okay, well, I'm saying that if you're religious back then.
If you're religious, you're religious, plain and simple.
Okay, but what I'm saying...
And I didn't do anything to her.
But you were involved in it.
No, I was not involved.
You didn't know any...
And I proved that.
You knew nothing about what Jeff and Sean were doing?
No, I did not. Not until after the fact. And I proved that in the court of law.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Paul wants to talk to you.
Paul Brown, man.
Yeah, Paul.
What's happening?
We're doing a radio interview.
I understand. We're touching on those old subject.
Oh, my God. And it was live, so it was there was so much tension around it. And the whole building at the mothership is listening. And all of a sudden, hold on a second, Paul wants to talk to you. Oh, my God.
What's happening?
Yeah, Paul. Yeah, I'm doing an interview, Paul.
I'm doing a radio interview.
Yeah.
I thought we're keeping it positive.
Yeah, I'm keeping it positive.
I'm buying this newspaper.
Yes.
And it became the biggest deal of our show that year. Like when people would call in, they'd be like, "Hey Dan, I want to go over the Mets." But hold on a second, Paul wants to talk to you. And they give it to their friend in the office.
Yeah. Or they didn't want to make us skeptical.
John Elway was the. Hold on a second, Paul wants to talk to you.
Paul wants to talk to you.
And we would have had shirts back then.
Yeah. Yes, McLevin.
When I first started working with you guys, you used to say that to me all the time. I thought you meant Paul Pabst, and I always would go, "What's up, Paulie?"
Yeah. Hold on a second. Paul wants to talk to you.
I'm not going to make a skeptical out of my boxing career.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, and she didn't. She didn't make us skeptical. She made a spectacle out of it, but not a skeptical. But I'm nitpicking there. All right. You got Whitey Herzog interviewed.
All right, so now the Whitey thing is also a little bit of an issue here because it's even longer. But if you want to there's two things. You ask him two questions back to back that he reacts very negatively to.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's about drug use, Keith Hernandez and drug use, and then you follow it up with Ozzy not being a great shortstop.
Jesus.
Do you want me to play the whole thing? Because it's about 2.5 minutes long.
Oh, God.
You have to.
Yeah. Now, he coached or managed the Cardinals, and they were a great team, but there were drug problems like there were with so many other teams in baseball back then. But I got notes with the book because he had done, the forward to the book. So the PR department sent notes, in case you needed some things to touch on. And I touched on a couple of those things with Whitey, and it didn't go well. Here's the great manager, Whitey Herzog.
Keith Hernandez had drug problems back during this run with the Cardinals, and you had to go through that. How much did you know about what Hernandez was doing and then the FBI investigation that followed up?
Well, basically, I never have spoken publicly about it, and I don't feel now's the time to do it. Bygones are bygones, but I think Keith and I understand each other, and he knew what happened. I hated like heck to trade a ball player, especially to the Mets, who had a good team, but at the time we just couldn't get anything for him because everybody knew what was going on. But that was a pretty common thing at that time. In the early 80s, I think we all had a lot of problems in the ball club, and I think that's pretty well cleaned up now.
But as far as steroids, you look at that now as, I don't want to say the drug of choice, but cocaine was a prevalent problem back in the 80s in baseball.
Not only in baseball.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
That was a way of life. That was in society. I mean, that was doctors, dentists, not just baseball players. So don't try to pinpoint it that with baseball.
Yeah, but I'm trying to make the analogy that it was cocaine back then. Is it steroids now?
Well, what difference does it make? It's not illegal. And so until it's illegal, what the heck do you care if it's steroids or not? I mean, I'm not going to make a statement on steroids because if somebody wants to go get steroids and take them, I really can't say he's doing something wrong because it's not illegal. That's like smoking a cigarette.
Well, you're not allowed to have steroids. That's illegal. And plus, do you want...
What are you saying?
Steroids are illegal, Whitey.
Not in baseball.
Well, they don't test for them, but if I catch you with steroids, that's against the law.
Well, not if you got them on a prescription.
Well, yeah, if you have a prescription. But do you want guys using steroids to hit home runs?
I don't even want to talk about that. We're supposed to be talking about the book. I don't want to get into something like that.
Why do you say that Ozzie Smith is not the best shortstop you saw?
I didn't ever said that.
In the press release notes, it says that Ozzie wasn't the best shortstop you saw.
I didn't say that. Mike Shannon said that.
Oh, he did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, this is what the notes I have. It says a few things
notes
that...
are wrong, okay? Yeah. Listen, I've got enough. I don't really care to talk to you anymore, okay?
Thank you, Whitey.
Well then, Dan, that was an interesting conversation.
It's Whitey Herzog, the former Cardinal skipper, joining us. As I have the press release in front of me, it says a few things fans will learn in Whitey's Boys include why Ozzie Smith wasn't the best shortstop Whitey Herzog ever saw, why Keith Hernandez regrets his drug use, the infamous FBI investigation. If you're going to have somebody on to talk about your book, then talk about the book. These are press releases that were sent to me for Whitey to talk about. I didn't make them up and pull them out of left field.
The other voice you hear is Rich Eisen, who was joining me that day on Mothership Radio. Yeah, that one didn't go well. I had all my information. I had all my facts. I had my questions. I had my press release. I was ready to go.
Why did you say this? I didn't.
I was waiting for Whitey to give the phone to Paul and then have Paul saying, what are we doing here? What's going on here?
Keep it positive, Dan.
Yeah.
Don't talk about steroids.
Which is more cringy? Which makes you cringe more whilst listening to it?
Well, I get the Tonya was cringy, but with Whitey, I was surprised at that because it shouldn't have been. If you give me bullet points to bring up that Whitey wants to talk about that are in the book, then I feel like we got a pretty good chance to have a good interview. And these are all awkward. If you say we're going to talk about drug use, cocaine use, steroids, Keith Hernandez, I'm in. Okay, I'm ready for you. I didn't bring up, why do you think that Ozzie's not the best shortstop you saw? That's not my opinion. I was thinking, God, Whitey's going to say somebody's a better shortstop than Ozzie? Okay. Yeah, Fritzy.
You'd rather have a guest hang up on you or pass the phone to someone else in the middle of the interview?
I think passing the phone was, if Tonya just hung up, then I would have had more respect for her than you hand it to Paul. What the hell is Paul going to do on the phone?
It was so much more entertaining that she handed the phone to
it was. It was entertaining, but you're going to hand the phone to Paul. Like, Paul's not in the room with me. Hold on a second. Paul wants to talk to you. Who the hell is Paul? Yes, Paul.
By the way, you saying what's Paul going to do and who the hell's Paul is going to be used by our open guy Bob for the rest of my career here. What's Paul going to do?
You didn't know any...
I proved that.
Oh, my God.
Hold on a second. Paul wants to talk to you.
Oh, okay.
Paul Brown, man.
Yeah, hey, Paul.
What's happening?
We're doing a radio interview.
What's happening?
I like when I go, we're doing a radio interview.
Very literal of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Doing a radio interview, Paul. I still sweat when I hear those things. There's not many of those, but they're enough that you just go, gosh, could I have done it differently? You know, then you start to second guess because, you know, I don't want to pick on Whitey Herzog. You know, he's a great baseball man. He's crusty. All right, I get it. But, you know, if you're going to come on to promote a book, then let's talk about what's in the book.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.